Welcome back to another great episode of the Get Real with Jill video podcast. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us today. We have an incredible guest. She is absolutely amazing. She exemplifies the spirit of ambition, for sure, determination, crazy, in a good way. And Taylor is just 17 years old. She has already achieved more than many of us could even dream of. So please join me in welcoming Taylor Hall. Thank you.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Of course. Taylor, so just to even tell a little bit more, you are a straight A student. Okay, remember, here's what I'm going to tell you. She's a straight A student, 17 years old, and you're going to be a senior in high school.
Yes, I'm going into my senior year.
Yay!
Yeah. I have 4 classes and I'm done.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, that's like on a countdown for sure.
Yes.
Not only has she excelled academically, but she has also held the title of Miss Teenage Agriculture. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And you've recently, we'll talk about that, handed over the crown.
Yes.
But she is obviously not dressed up as Miss Teenage Agriculture. No, because her dedication and passion is beyond that, beyond the classroom, and Taylor is an amazing, her dream is to be a race car driver, which you are today.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
So Taylor's been racing cars since the age of 14, competing in micros, midgets, and sprint cars? Yes. Okay. So you guys are going to learn a lot today. So this is going to be a great education, plus for those of you who want to inspire this and watch it on TV, she's going to give you a lot of information, so please stay tuned. Her skills on the track are matched by, because she's very business savvy. Remember, she's 17 years old. She manages her father's company, USAC, Western States Midget Series. Yes.
USAC Western States Midget.
Okay, USAC West. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And has recently launched her own venture, Hall Motorsports Development.
Yes. So me and my dad are together in that.
Okay.
And it is pretty much just funding for like my racing career, and so it all goes into that.
Okay. Funding for the racing career. I think that's the key word today.
Yes.
Funding for the racing career. Because we're going to talk about that. I mean, my son Kyle played soccer. That was expensive. This is nothing like him playing soccer. We're talking a lot of money to do this. So welcome to the Get Real with Jill show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Your mom and I, who's also behind the audience with all the other viewers in the background. Her and I have been talking about this because I've wanted you on this for so long. So thank you, Taylor.
Of course. I'm so excited.
Okay, so I think we're just going to go ahead and get to it. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and then we'll just have conversation. Because I think one of the reasons why I wanted you on is because you are such an entrepreneur, you have a passion, somebody at such a young age, there's so many different challenges just being your age overall in today's world, but you are showing a passion for what you're doing. So talk to us about when you, at 14 years old, what did that look like to you starting the race car business?
Yeah, so I started out playing softball competitively my whole entire life. I was
oh my God,
going like hardcore. I practiced 5 days a week, would train every single night, and play games Saturday and Sunday. Well, COVID happened, so all of that stopped. Well, my dad had always been racing my entire life, and I knew that going into it. So I would look back and I went to the races right when COVID happened, and I was like, Dad, I think I could kick these boys' butts. Like, I don't think they're that good. Like, I think I could do better.
Really? Awesome.
And
okay.
So I sat back, and me and my dad discussed everything. I continued to play softball for a little while, and it just didn't feel, it wasn't my passion anymore. I realized that I had a really strong passion for race cars. So me and my dad went out and we practiced one day at my Uncle Jimmy's track that he has at his house, and I fell in love.
What?
And
okay.
Yes, that's a whole other thing. So
I
fell in love. So my dad and my uncle, they were like, okay, well, she's up to speed and she's good enough. We should just buy her an outlaw cart and go from there. So I raced outlaw carts from 14 till about a year ago at Cycleland and Red Bluff Speedway, which Cycleland's in Chico, California, and Red Bluff and was in Red Bluff, California.
What kind of car is that? What is
outlaw
that?
Carts.
Okay, what is that?
500cc engines with a pretty much like build your own, I guess you could say. So we buy the chassis, the parts, everything, and then we build it ourselves, and then we put the motor on, and that's that. So there's no suspension on them, which is crazy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's no power steering.
Oh wow. This is interesting.
It's very hard and very physically demanding. So I'm also a gym rat. I go to the gym 5 days a week.
Your arms are pretty strong. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, taught me a lot. And, made me want to go to the gym more.
I hear you.
So I started out racing that, and then about a year ago, I got the opportunity to start racing micro sprints for a family from Oregon, actually. And I loved it. I fell in love with it, and I had so much fun racing with them. I ended up going on the road with them for a little while and watching them race bigger cars. And I was like, man, this is really what I want to do. I love this more than anything. So
how did you find that? Like, who was that family? Like, how did you just hook up with them?
My dad knew their crew chief.
Okay.
And then they went from there, and they ended up renting our shop. So they had all of their race cars in our shop. So I'd go home and I'd see all of our race cars in the shop, and I was like, man, I just want to race. Like, I didn't want to race the bigger cars. Yeah. So I ended up getting the opportunity from them to go racing with them for a while. Okay. And I raced with them for probably 9 months. And then I got the opportunity. We went to Indiana for this, a trade show for race cars. And I met this family, and they had an extra car for one of the biggest race pretty much in the country for micro sprint racing. Yeah. And it's an indoor building. Okay. And it's amazing. Like, it's the coolest thing ever. So all the pits, everything's indoors. It's in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so it's freezing outside. So everything's indoors, and it's super cool.
That's better.
So it's the only race during the winter that goes on. Okay. So it's really awesome that, they have that. So we ended up meeting with them at Indiana, and I got the opportunity to race for them for that big race. Well, it didn't go as planned, and I ended up flipping one of the big crashes that we're going to talk about.
I know, yes, because your mama was having a cow.
Yes,
every mom. Yes. Yeah, that's really hard, but we'll talk about that, because that would be super hard.
Yes, it is very hard. And then I ended up meeting a family that they were also racing for, and I got the opportunity to start racing midgets in the Midwest. So I started racing in Oklahoma midgets for Mount Stout Motorsports, and I had an absolute blast. So that was about 2 months ago, and I'm currently helping my dad run his series with USAC and everything on the West Coast to try to get him rolling and get him going. So I haven't been racing for the past 2 months, but the opportunities out there are amazing. So,
well, what I'm hearing, you have a lot of networking
yes,
you have to do. Okay.
Yes. And that's how I feel like it's related to real estate, is because of how much networking you have to do.
Yeah. And if you don't do anything, you don't get paid.
Exactly.
And it costs a lot of money just to have the stuff.
Exactly. So if I'm not networking, then I don't get to drive race cars. So it's just like real estate. Like, that's how I felt like very relatable.
So you just recently started micros.
Yes.
Okay.
A year ago. Mostly midgets. Midgets are my main focus right now. Yes.
So can you describe because we're talking micro midgets, we're not talking body cells. We're talking. So what's the difference between micros and midgets?
So micros have a smaller motor. They're 600cc street bike motor in them. Okay. And then they have a little bit bigger of a chassis than an outlaw car. Some have the big wings on them. So I race on a dirt oval. So that's like on a dirt track. And so some of them have really big wings, some of them don't. I have not been racing wing cars for a long time. So all of them have been non-wing. And midgets are non-wing too. So they don't have any big wings or anything. So it's a lot more dangerous, Mom says.
A lot of this has a lot to do with not just getting in the car, understanding how the car's built, but I would also think there's a lot to do with engineering.
Yes. And that stuff I'm not too savvy with.
Okay. But I think that's with experience, right?
Exactly. Like those outlaw carts, I could do anything on those things. I know those like the back of my head because I raced them for so long. But these are, newer, and so I don't necessarily know all the tricks and little stuff.
So can we talk about you flip?
Yes. And if you want, I can pull up the video when we are done.
Okay. We will want to see the video.
Yes, because it was very scary.
I think I did see the video.
Yes.
Okay, but we'll let because as a parent, it's
Yes.
very hard. Because your mom's watching it on YouTube or
she
live.
she was live.
On that one.
This
Oh,
one
thank
she was
God.
live.
Okay.
Yeah. But she was
Yeah.
very like in the stands, like, oh my gosh, because we didn't know if I was okay. You know, because at that time, like all the ambulances and everything come up and like start talking to you, and like I'm an emotional person because I'm like, they gave me this opportunity and I destroyed a race car. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like
You're thinking that way.
Yes.
Okay.
Me as like, because I'm like, oh my gosh, they gave me this amazing opportunity, and so it's keep in mind, so like the start of the race, you come to the checkered like this, right? You're going on the front stretch, and the car turned on me, and I went straight into the wall and went flipping down the front stretch. So I
How
probably
long
flipped
into the
4
race?
times.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
First lap. It was literally on the start of the race.
Okay.
And then I turned the wall, and then I went flipping.
So what caused that?
Someone got into me behind me, and someone got into me on the side, and stuff like that happens all the time. It wasn't on purpose or anything like that. It ended up badly for me, and so I ended up going for a ride, and it was awful for mom and my dad to watch because they're like, oh my gosh, like.
So okay, I want to step back a minute because you immediately were feeling. Well, what was your thought? Well, you were immediately feeling you felt bad for the people because it was somebody's race car.
Yes.
That hires you or gives you the opportunity to race for them.
Yes.
Because I don't think everybody understands all that.
So all these cars, when I got to the Midwest, which is Oklahoma, Illinois, everything like that, they give me the opportunity to fly out there and run their own race cars. So it's not our race cars. Like my dad doesn't own it. It's other people that own it.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah. So it was.
And
like,
they invest in that car.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's their baby. To them. Like I know how much we've always been like, oh, that's ours. Like having somebody else run it, and then.
And you got that amazing opportunity.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was first in your head.
While it was happening, I was like, no way this is happening right now. I was like, no way this is happening right now. Actually, this steering wheel, if we're actually being honest, that is the steering wheel that I was holding. So when you flip, you don't, you have to, hold on to something or, hold your chest so that you, continue yourself. So your arms don't go flying or anything. So while I'm racing, I grip onto that steering wheel like this while I'm flipping, and I'm just thinking, please stop, please stop.
Okay. Did it seem forever?
That one went by pretty quick. That one wasn't too long, but I just closed my eyes.
So this is the steering wheel.
That is the steering wheel, and I still use it. It's my favorite steering wheel. It's from MPI. It's a company out in North Carolina. I'm actually sponsored by them, and so they sent me that steering wheel.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, they sent me that steering wheel. And
because it's important to get sponsored.
Yes, sponsors are very important in this line of work.
It's a beautiful steering wheel, too.
Yes. And my colors are orange, so it matches everything.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
And okay, so and I love your nails. Holy cow, they're beautiful.
Thank you.
Can we talk about your fire suit? Sure. It scares me that it's called a fire suit. Because there's a reason. So let's talk about that.
So they do sometimes, very rarely, but they do catch on fire. Mm-hmm. So there's certain things that can happen, oil leaks, fuel leaks, stuff like that, and they will catch on fire. And so that's something we try to avoid at all costs, but it is a real thing. So that is why we have to wear our safety gear like we do. But the cool thing about these is sponsors get to be all over them.
Yeah.
So if you're looking
gosh.
Being a sponsor, all of your logos
your
will be
Paradise Signs and Graphics. I know that one.
So
I order from them because of you. Because I saw it on her sleeve.
Yep. Yeah. That's why. So go.
I'm gonna tell Larry.
Go help Larry. Yeah. Go help Larry out.
Larry Marlette. Yeah. Paradise Signs. I love it. Okay.
Yeah. So I have all my sponsors on all my fire suits. So everyone that has Pressler Properties. That's my brother's company.
I love. Oh my
Future Plastering.
Did I just turn off my microphone? Because I just hit it. Okay.
I think you're good.
Okay.
And then Paradise Signs, and then Mike Feline Trucking. Then I have Stubborn Fishing Rods, which is a fishing rod company. And then I have Elk Grove Ford on the back.
I see. Oh, yeah.
Clothing. So, yeah.
Oh, my. Is that your logo on the back? Wait, what's the K?
No, that one's not my logo. My logo's right here.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you can see it, but it says Taylor.
Fun. And then you have I wanted one of these.
Isn't it fun? Because then you get to walk around and everybody sees all of your sponsors all the time, so they're always wondering.
Congratulations on getting all those sponsors. How do you do that?
Networking. It's all about networking.
At 17 years old, you're like a salesperson.
Oh, I really am. Yeah. At the end of the day,
Holy cow!
But so my mom obviously was a real estate agent my whole entire life, so like I obviously saw what she had to do networking wise and stuff like that.
And you decided, let's do that?
I was like, well, if I want to make this career, I have to. And then my dad does sales for a construction company too. So I've been around sales my whole entire life. So I know how to talk to people.
Obviously, I mean, and you're very, very mature, I mean, you really are. You're amazing. Yeah, you are. Okay, so... Oh, let me ask you this about the flip, though. Okay. The flip happens. Where's your mom and dad, and when do you see them next?
So my mom was in the stands, and then my dad was watching from kind of like down below. Okay. And I heard, when I flipped, my dad went silent. He couldn't talk. He didn't say anything. He just stood there and then walked down because he like wanted to make sure I was okay. So he's like scared.
Is he on microphone with you?
No, so we can't. So the only thing that we hear, in pavement racing, they have spotters, so people like can tell them where to go if there's people on the outside. We have nothing. We don't have mirrors. We don't have anything like that. So we're all on our own. Okay. Yeah. So we don't know what's around us, anything. The only thing that we have in our ear is the DOC, which is the one that like tells us, oh, yellow flag, red flag. There's a car stopped there, and that's it. That's all we have in our ears. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so that you know.
No. So then if, let's say like there's a car in front of me stopped, and I don't see it, then they're telling us in our ears where it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there ever a big cloud of dust?
All the time, yeah. Certain tracks, they get really dusty, and then you can't see anything. Like the other weekend at my dad's track, somebody's motor blew up, and there's a white cloud of dust everywhere, and nobody could see. So my dad had to like stop the race so that they could get him off the track because the white smoke was so bad.
Okay, so there's a lot of safety precautions.
Yes, yes, lots of safety precautions, yes. But yeah, my dad was very like, wanted to make sure I was okay first thing. And then my mom was, I would say, pretty nervous. She happened to be with a bunch of my friends and everything, so she was like somewhat okay.
Oh, yeah, to have that support.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So then once I like got off the track and everything and they brought the car, we met my parents at the trailer, and I was really emotional when this happened. So they came up, like gave me a hug and said, you know, everything's okay, like it's going to be okay. But yeah.
Of course you're going to be emotional.
Yeah. So it's good though. And I'm totally fully recovered from that. Luckily I had a little bit of bruising, but I had no broken bones, nothing like that. I had a mild concussion, but nothing crazy.
So that, how do you get back in?
So I raced the next day.
Oh, okay. So whose car was that one?
The same one. They rebuilt that car that night. They stayed up half the night.
I can't even do a tire.
So they stayed up half the night and rebuilt that car. So.
By the people who own it.
Yes, they have crew guys. Yes, they have crew guys. So Josh and Connor, they stayed up half the night rebuilding that. Yes, thank you, Josh and Connor. Yeah. They're probably watching. Yeah. So they stayed up half the night, but rebuilding that car for me because they knew that I had the potential to go out there and do really well.
Good for you. Yeah. Because this is your pet. So, okay, so we're going to step back a second. Okay. I want to talk about Miss California Agriculture because you do a lot of community service.
I do, yeah.
And you started pageants when you were little.
Yes.
And you grew to even being Miss Auburn.
Yes.
And now you just recently gave up the crown for Miss California Agriculture.
Yes.
Okay, so this is not all about Taylor. This is you are also giving back to the community. So tell us about that experience.
So yeah, I've been doing pageants since I was around 3 years old, and I stopped when I was about 12 because I was playing softball so competitively, and then I got back into it at 15, and I competed for a couple pageants, and I ended up winning Miss Auburn, Miss Teen Auburn, and Miss California Agriculture. So I won them both in the same year, which is super cool.
I think I remember that. Yeah. Okay,
so I won them in the same year, and I did a lot of community service last year because of all of that. So lots of like homeless drives, stuff like that, and then I also did like, wow, I'm really going blank right now. I did a lot of like homeless drives and stuff like that, and like tried my best to be out in the community, you know, supporting everyone and.
Do they know that you're also a race car driver?
Most of them don't.
Okay.
I try to keep it not as...
Like too different.
Yeah, because they are too different. I mean, a lot of my friends that are in the pageant community, they know because it's all over my social media and everything like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, I love pageants. I
Okay.
support, 100%. I think they're so good for young girls. I think that really builds your confidence. Like, because when I was 3 years old, I wouldn't get out from in between my mom's legs.
Oh,
I wouldn't talk to
seriously?
I wouldn't talk to anybody. I was shy as can be. And
Oh
when my mom put me
gosh.
on that stage, it all came out. And all of a sudden,
Whoa.
from there on out, I was never
Okay,
shy.
that's good to
Yeah, so I think it really builds your confidence from like a girl's perspective. Like, I always feel like if you're a parent and your daughter is maybe on the shyer side or like maybe not as social, like those pageants really help because you meet so many amazing girls too.
Yeah.
Like those girls in those communities are very, very kind and very
A good circle,
Yes,
a good group.
Yes, a good group of people.
So, and Taylor, you have great support, like
Yes.
great family support.
Yes, I do.
And maybe that helps also, and you can tell me as far as you keeping on track. That's not a pun, but I guess it's a pun. Keeping on track. Because what kept you maybe it's the pageants, the family support, the race cars, that you're going down this path when you listen to the news and teenagers are not all like that. So what kept you let's just stay focused?
Honestly, I think I have a really good relationship with God. Like, that's my number one. And I think that's always been my, like, drive. Like, that's always been my, like, go forward. Like, I know what I need to be doing and I know what I need to get done. Like, I have goals. Like, I have really big aspirations in racing and in my everyday life. Mm-hmm. So I think as long as I kept my mind on my goals and my aspirations, then nothing was going to stop me.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that a minute. Because thankfully we have our faith.
Yes.
And then Kyle and I talk about this too. Thank God for God
Yes.
in our lives.
Yes. Yes.
So not every day is a perfect day.
Totally.
So how do you work through a non-perfect day? What do you do?
So I'm a journaler. I don't know if...
Oh,
Yes.
I love that.
So
Okay.
like, I'm not necessarily journaling like for myself, but I'm like, dear God, and then I write out my whole entire day and everything that happened and I pray about it before I go to bed every night.
You raised an amazing daughter. You and Scott. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's a good way of like getting out my feelings and like having, talking about what's going on, but not necessarily having to be like, my day was so awful. Like, how do I make it better tomorrow?
Yes. Love that. Please. Yes, this is how it's supposed to be. Yeah. Oh my gosh, if people can only have God in their lives, because there's a lot of people who don't. Yeah. I'm so glad that you shared that. You're not afraid to share that, and we shouldn't be.
Yeah,
No.
Totally. I mean, which just sucks because it's like some in this time of day. I don't know if that's really...
I know,
right? But
we
it's like we should be able to be, talk about stuff like that. Yeah.
That is awesome, Taylor. I love that. Yeah. So that kind of threw me off because I'm just so proud of you in that way. And here's the other thing too is you are so independent. And I think, and I don't know for sure, like with your mom and dad, but I think from just talking with your mom, there's like peace inside your mom because she just loves you, and just is so happy for you. And people at 17 aren't this independent, so she does, and your dad too. You could go to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You are away for 9 months doing something, even though that's hard. Thank God for our technology.
Totally.
But I just think sometimes when people just are in this bubble and you're not in a bubble at all and you've had this great circle of people and living life, where sometimes when they're in a bubble and they get out, then they're living a crazy life.
Yes.
You have been experiencing a lot of fun or adult stuff, even with the pageantries, usually they're younger anyway, but experiencing adult life and embracing it, taking it on, and just taking a ride with life. Another fun. So what is next for you, Taylor?
So my plan is I want to race some local stuff, hopefully in the next year.
Okay.
Racing is really big out here, but not in the way that I want to move my career.
Okay.
I feel like it's very good for like a local base level to get your name out there and stuff like that, but I really want to be able to race the highest level I possibly can. So my plan is to race in the Midwest. I haven't got all the details worked out, but my plan is to go to the Midwest and race for quite some time in the midget program and see how that goes. and then go from there. I mean, there's so many different opportunities, but it's just the timing and, you know, meeting the right people, the right network.
Right network,
yeah, right, meeting the right people, really. Because if you don't meet the right people, then you won't get to where you need to be.
So how do you do that? I mean,
So honestly, like after the races at the racetrack, there's so many people, everybody's standing around talking. So you can just go introduce yourself, go talk to people. I mean, you hear about people in other ways, and you know, you just go introduce yourself and like just start talking to them. Like I feel like it's so real estate, like you know, like it's just so like I really am being honest here. Like it's so
and plus you have to get funding for this. This is a very, very expensive
very
sport.
very expensive.
So how does that work?
So
funding.
Luckily, I have a very good like base in the state of California, and I met a lot of really great people that my parents are friends with. You know, in so many different aspects of my life, and I really appreciate all of them. So like I try my best to, you know, support them and like make them an effort to like be around and like, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of them are my mom's friends or my dad's friends and stuff like that. But I mean, we're always growing. Like we're always looking for more sponsors, more support, marketing partners. I have a really good social media base, so I'm always blasting all my sponsors and making sure that they know that I support them because they support me.
Right.
So.
And you know, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we will too, just to the viewers, we're going to put all of your information on as well so that we can follow you. Yes.
And even the likes, they matter. Like
okay.
Yeah, like
okay.
it's cool, like, you know, to keep building my brand on social media and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you
that
for
always
saying
helps
that.
Too, yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share about that stuff too?
I mean, just that, like, all my marketing partners, like, I always try to blast them and, like, do everything I can to make their brand my brand, too.
Okay, well, I think Paradise Signs is getting a lot of, like...
a lot very better than watching.
They need another sleep. Okay, so is there anything else that you want to share that we haven't talked about yet?
I think that's everything, yeah?
Okay. I'm just impressed at all the mix that you're doing. I mean, some people, it's just hard to get through high school.
Yeah.
And I am impressed that you went, it's interesting how God took you from competitive softball. That was your life.
My whole entire life.
2020 happened, and you're like, I'm trying this race. That God had a different plan for you.
Totally.
And now look at you, Taylor. Yeah. You're an inspiration. You really are. I'm not just saying that. And you're going to make a difference in people's lives. And not just young people, whether they're male or female, but I also think parents to go, okay, there's a lot of different directions, and have faith in your children. And keep inspiring them and helping with their future, and never give up. Because a lot of kids, they go through divorce, they have their own issues, and no matter what, with God in your life, you are just, and your parents are amazing. You just are a great person.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
All right, so, okay, well, this fire suit will never need to be used, because she'll just be wearing it in her race car.
Yep, pretty much.
So tell me, before we wrap up, what does this summer look like for you?
So this summer's been kind of slow, because I've been obviously, you know, helping with my dad's series, but from here on out, you know, I'm planning on going to the Midwest and racing as much as I can, and locally racing, like trying my best to do that, and just get my name out there as much as possible.
Okay, so that's really the goal right now. Get your name out there, race as much as possible. And now I think there's a lot of us that may have not understood the whole racing thing. Now I get it. Like, it's not just you going and signing up for a race. There's so much involved in it.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you guys, this is my second show with a very special guest, Taylor Hall, on the Get Real with Jill video podcast. And we will have, you know what, let's tell us how they can reach you and get you on Instagram. I'm going to put it down too.
My Instagram, I want to say Taylor _
I don't know mine
what
either.
it is.
I know, but we will find you.
We'll find. Oh wait, maybe it's Tay Hall 56. I think that's all I am on TikTok, Instagram, and then Facebook's just Taylor Hall Motorsports or Taylor Hall.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that's right. If not, I'll have.
Okay. So race car driver, entrepreneur, has her own business, helping her dad with his series, running that. and just gave up the crown for Miss California Agriculture. You're a rock star.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And let's just drive away.